to Glam and Shine with Rashmi Bedi. My guest today is the founder of Life Lemonade, a training organization for life transformation, women empowerment, leadership, and parenting. With a doctorate of women entrepreneurship, she is an Amazon #1 best-selling author of Don't Raise Your Children, Raise Yourself, and many more other best-selling books. So here I present my very special guest today, Dr. Swati Lodha.
And I am a lifelong kindergartner. I had my maternal instincts very strong from the very beginning, much before I became a biological mother. But then my childlike instincts are savage too. So I kind of keep alternating between being a child and being a parent all the time. People like to address me as a leadership coach, but I always prefer to be called a children's spokesperson.
Hi, Dr. Swati. How are you?
Hi Rashmi, I'm all good. You tell me, how are you?
I'm good. It's honor to have you on our show because बहुत से कम लोग होते हैं, those people who are giver, and that's what you are all about.
Thank you for having me here. My pleasure to be talking to you.
Thank you so much. So, Dr. Swati, as I told you, first of all, I'm your biggest fan, I should say, because the way you are, what your personality is all
Oh
about.
my
So, I really wanted you to share your
Thank you.
journey with all of our viewers so that they all are aware of USA and Canada people everywhere, worldwide people should know that what Dr. Swati is all about. So, how your journey started, and like from such a young age, you have been doing so much. So, kindly share that with us, please.
I'll try to go back to my childhood memories and tell you about my beginnings. I belong to Rajasthan, so you can well understand that that is not a very progressive state.
Of course.
Family where my father is a doctor, and to be very honest, I realized it very late in life, but then I realized that how fortunate I was to be born in a gender agnostic family some 43, 44 years ago, where in that time my parents never believed in any kind of gender discrimination between a boy and a girl. So they had two daughters, and they raised both of them as two human beings, not as girls, because that is one of the biggest challenges in our families, especially in which is known for being a little orthodox, culturally rooted into their own norms and beliefs. But my parents were a little different from the very beginning, and so the kind of upbringing I got was completely gender neutral.
Yeah.
And as a result, I was always a confident individual, though I was studying in very normal schools. I would not even say normal. I was studying in schools where we didn't have the proper buildings of schools. I studied in tents as well because it was a desert area where I studied till 10th grade. And so it wasn't a very easy thing to do, but at that time we enjoyed our childhood, and I was very happy with the way I was studying in those places. And I genuinely think that the kind of upbringing I got has to do the most with the kind of person I became later in life. I turned into an entrepreneur very soon, though I always say in jest with everyone around me that my marriage was my first startup. And, it was fraught with risk because when I decided to marry the person whom I married, nobody wanted me to marry that person. And so there was a lot of risk involved in it.
Okay.
And that risk paid off. And so my first startup was successful. And after that, my second startup was Swash, which was a training organization again, which dealt with youth. And so when I was 21, when I was doing my MBA, during my MBA program only, I started Swash, which was a company which talked about development of life skills among youth. And we carried on that organization for almost 14 years, and we trained more than 10,000 children, adolescents, professionals during that time. And that experience was such a rich treasure trove, which helped me in writing a lot of my books. It developed me into a very empathetic individual. It helped me understand the problems of young teenagers, adolescents, which cannot be kind of helped in any school or college. So, what I learned through the experience of Swash helped me uh, build up a kind of learning ecosystem around me through the work that I've done. And that involves self improvement, that involves parenting, that involves excellence, that involves a lot of work for women. And I've been doing all of it together. And many a times when people ask me, what is your expertise? I wonder if I can say at any one area which is my expertise, because I feel that my expertise is nowhere. I'm a work in progress person. I'm a work in progress mother. I'm a work in progress leader. I'm a work in progress person. And I always try to work in all the areas of a person's life. That is my passion is that we excel in all the roles as a person, as a professional, as a partner, as a parent, and as a perennialer. That is, we try to work well in all these roles that we choose for ourselves in life. So that is why the gamut of my work includes all these things together. That how do we become a better person? How do we become a better partner? How do we become a better professional? How do we become a better parent? And how do we become a better perennialer who tries to plan for life beyond 75 also?
Awesome.
So that is what my journey has been. It has been around young people, it has been around college students, it has been around women, it has been around parents of all, mindsets. And I've been enjoying it thoroughly talking to people from different walks of life. So I do parenting sessions with corporates.
Oh,
And that is
wow.
something, yeah, that is something which is very interesting because I do a workshop called Leadership and Parenting, the connecting link. So I connect leadership with parenting for corporates. I do a lot of parenting sessions for corporates. And that is how I feel, we can develop excellence in all the roles that we play.
Perfect.
And this is what my journey in short is.
So perfect is the right word for you, I should say.
I don't believe in perfection, Rashmi. I just believe in,
No, no, I know that
trying
you,
to strive.
see, you apply the things on yourself. You proved it, and that's what you're talking
Of
about.
course.
That's what I really like it.
Of
So I really want to know, like,
course.
you were very young when you started Swash. So what was exactly in
Certainly.
your mind and how? Because it's a very heavy thing what you are talking about and what you had been doing. So
Yeah,
that's a very young age and a very tender age. Still, I know 21 is not
I
too
understand.
yeah, but still, how
Hmm.
it started, like how you felt that yes, I have to do this.
I'll tell you how it began. Since I studied in remote areas of Rajasthan, so it took a lot of strength on my part to learn a simple thing like how to speak English. I
Okay.
learned it on my own because I studied in those schools where the medium was not important because we had no teachers most of the times. The teachers who got posted to a remote school in Rajasthan, they would want to take a break rather than come to that deserted
So
place.
true.
And so I was always kind of improving myself on my own. So the kind of work that I did in order to become a confident individual, it took a lot of hard work on my own. So I felt it very strongly that how it's very difficult for other individuals, other young people in those parts of Rajasthan to improve themselves. And there are so many things like speaking well, like speaking confidently, like how to take decisions strategically, or how to become more confident in life. So I felt the need very strongly. And even at 21, I realized that rather than working for someone else, it would be very good if I start working for myself, and I would be able to help the younger generation out here. So I designed a program based on my experiences. How I learned English on my own. That was the experience that I used to help other people learn English. Then I and Shailesh, we developed a course for personality development for individual grooming. And that was the first course in India which helped people to improve themselves in a short span of 28 days. And that course helped a lot of young people across India to improve themselves. And so it was a conviction that I would be able to help a lot of people because I've seen it myself. So it was my first hand experience that helped me, that motivated me, that gave me the conviction to start as an entrepreneur. मैं उस जमाने की बात कर रही हूँ जब स्टार्टअप और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप शब्द ज्यादा
ज्यादा गाने भी नहीं गाते
फैशन
थे,
में
of
नहीं थे,
course,
ट्रेंडी नहीं थे
of
जी।
course, of course.
एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की स्पेलिंग भी ज्यादा लोगों को नहीं आती थी उस वक्त। मैं उस जमाने की बात कर रही हूँ, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 1997.
Okay.
So it wasn't a very ripe time for being an entrepreneur, but somehow I think I was very young, and many a times I feel that जब हम young होते हैं तो हम ज़्यादा रिस्क ले पाते हैं
True.
क्योंकि हमारे पास ज़्यादा खोने को नहीं होता और हमें ये लगता है कि हम बहुत सारी चीज़ों की कोशिश कर सकते हैं और कभी कभी इग्नोरेंस में हम ज़्यादा अच्छे डिसीजंस ले पाते हैं
Yes.
क्योंकि उस वक्त हमें पता ही नहीं होता कि what are the forces we are fighting against.
So
When we grow up, we realize that, oh, that wasn't a very wise thing to do at that time. What if it wouldn't have worked?
worked.
What if, I would have fallen flat on my face trying to do something and, start my career on a failure.
Yeah.
But as you've heard my TED talk, you know that failure has been my very good friend from a very young age.
Yes, of course.
So I welcome failure and I'm always ready for it.
Yeah, you'll
So
always learn.
that fear is not there.
You always
Yeah,
learn from the failure.
that's
That is
why
so true.
that's why it was easy for me to start at 21. I never felt that I'm too young to do it. I always felt that I can do it.
Fantastic. So how you started
Yeah.
writing books, like how you thought that I should write books, and how your interest inclined towards that.
This is again a very interesting thing. My first book of poetry
Mm-hmm.
came out when I was 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm.
That came out way back in 1992, which was a collection of poetry.
Okay.
And then my second collection of poetry came out with Shailesh in 1998.
Yeah.
So there were two collections of poetry that I wrote. तो मुझे लिखने का शौक था और मैं काफी कविताएं लिखा करती थी और उनके ये दो संकलन आ चुके थे. After that, somehow in 2000 my daughter was born. And when I look back, I always say that I used to write poetry before her birth. Once she was born, the only poetry I wrote was her.
Wow.
And then I switched to prose. And I started writing prose and I started writing books based on my experiences. So, Come On, Get Set, Go was the first book that I wrote with Shailesh. My last book with him also. उसकी भी एक इंटरेस्टिंग कहानी है, मौका मिला तो आपको बताऊंगी अभी. तो वो किताब हमने 2002 में लिखी और that was something to help people know about how to differentiate between success and failure, how to love failure and learn from it and move ahead in life. So it was more of a book based on my experiences in the beginning of Swash. And there only I ran a lot of programs for women, and that led to the birth of the this next book, which was Why Women Are What They Are.
Yeah,
So that is
that's
considered to
wonderful.
be one of the prominent books for Asian women, for self development, for relationship management, for their own growth. So that I wrote when I was 26. And a lot of people ask me, what do you know at 26 to write about this?
Of course.
And I always say that I don't know, maybe I was born an old, a granny.
No,
That's
no,
why
you're
I
very
felt that I
wise
can write it
because
at
you're a very
26.
keen observer and you know how to judge the situation in a correct manner. That's what I feel about it.
Yeah,
So, but I
so
would really
that
like
is
to
how
know,
these books came along.
according to you,
Hmm.
what do you think, what is the meaning of woman empowerment?
Okay, I'm not a great fan of the word women empowerment. I never use the word women empowerment because when you say it, it feels like we are some people who can give power to women. I'm
Yes.
sorry,
Mm-hmm.
they have all the power that they need. Okay, they are all empowered.
True.
They have more resilience, more potential, more energy, more patience to do whatever they can in life. So we are no one to empower them. The
Yeah.
only problem is the patriarchy that we are fighting around us,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that patriarchy, uh, we are conditioned culturally to accept the life in a way where women kind of forget that they are already empowered. So we just need to remind them of all the potential that they have inside and how they can
तो
use
ये
it.
डायमंड की
So
आप उन्हें ताराश देते हो, that's what it is.
ऑफ कोर्स सिर्फ याद दिला देते हैं कि आपके पास तो सब कुछ आप ही के पास है, आपको सिर्फ उसे यूज करना है, हमें सिर्फ शायद किसी ने बताया नहीं कि उसे इस्तेमाल कैसे करना है।
True.
और चूंकि हम जिस सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, हम जिस कल्चर में पले बड़े हैं, चूंकि वहां पर हमें अक्सर यही सिखाया जाता है, यही बताया जाता है कि आप बैकग्राउंड में रहें, आप पीछे से काम करें, और हमें बड़ी खुशी होती है जब कोई कहता है कि बिहाइंड एवरी सक्सेसफुल मैन देयर इज अ सक्सेसफुल वुमन एंड वुमेन टेक प्राइड इन इट, एंड आई फील दैट who told women that behind every successful man you should stand and feel happy?
No, of course.
It's not something that we are destined for. It is not something that is enough for us. We need our own space just next to the man, or wherever. There is no comparison, there is no kind of fight that we have to be equal to them. I mean, I just want to find my own space here, and that is, it is not relevant or it is not important in that it has to be in context of a man.
Absolutely.
Right. So for me, women empowerment is nothing but a reminder to all the women that all the grit lies inside you. We just need to open up, and जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, कस्तूरी जो होती है वो हिरन के मृग के अंदर ही होती है,
Yes.
लेकिन उसे ही पता नहीं होता और वो ढूंढता रहता है, तो इट इज जस्ट द सेम थिंग, नथिंग एल्स. सो हम कौन है जो एम्पावर करेंगे?
So true.
Who are we to empower women?
Yes.
Right.
Of course, I feel you have to
She's
respect
already,
yourself, then others will respect you. That's what the whole thing is all about, of course.
that's the most important thing.
Yes, yes, of
Yeah.
course, of course. So I would like to come back to this thing like 54 reasons why parents suck. That is a very catchy title, and I would like to know about that. कि वो
Yeah.
कैसे आया and how it happened.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, उसकी कहानी भी बड़ी मजेदार है. मेरी बिटिया स्वरा जो है, शी वाज इन 11th grade at that time जब डोंट रेज योर चिल्ड्रन रेज योरसेल्फ रिलीज हुई थी. सो वी वर डूइंग अ टॉक शो इन कोलकाता. She is an avid photographer. She loves to do photography for a lot of my events that I do. So she was clicking pictures there, and my interview was going on. And suddenly there was a person in the audience who asked that, I have a question, but not for you, ma'am, but I have it for your daughter.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, go ahead, ask her. She's there. So he asked her that, your mother is the school mom who keeps giving parenting gyan all the time, and she thinks that she knows a lot of things about parenting. So, what do you think? Is your mom a perfect mom, or can you point out a few things that annoy you?
Okay.
So, Swara just said that, oh, don't get me started. I can write a book on that.
Wow.
So, so she just said it. But then, Indian moms being such persistent moms. So I started, pestering her later that, do you really think that you can write a book on that? She was like, oh, forget it. I'm in 12th grade, okay?
Okay.
I'm not interested in writing any book, so leave it. So I said, no, but you said it with such spontaneity that it feels that it was true,
Yes,
So if you have such things inside you, I can help you.
of course.
Just the way, Lord Ganesha helped Vedvyas write Mahabharat, I can be your scribe. I will write it for you. You just tell me what you think. And maybe there is a book inside you. So after a while, she said, okay, we can try it. And so we started talking for half an hour every day. And she started ranting about what is wrong with you parents.
Okay.
And so in half an hour, whenever we spoke, I realized, oh my God, this is how children feel, this is how they think. And many a times we would have a fight, or she would cry, or I would end up feeling kind of insulted, disrespected. But after a month of these sessions, we both realized that there has been a lot of growth in last 1 month. There is a lot of radical transparency between us. There I have come down from my ego as a parent, and I can listen to her in a better manner.
Okay.
And that is how this book was born. Then she started research with around 200 children, where she asked them, she made a questionnaire and asked all of them about a lot of things which they felt their parents annoyed them about, or what were the basic problems that they faced, or what were the things where they had some expectations that how should they be raised.
Yep.
So, based on that questionnaire, the responses to those questions, we formed the structure of this book. And when it came to the name of the book, we both were pretty sure that we wanted to call it Why Parents Suck.
Okay.
Initially, the publishers and the editor was also a little skeptical that do you genuinely want to call it Why Parents Suck? Because parents won't like to hear that, and then parents are going to pay for the books if they're going to buy them. I said, but I am writing from the perspective of children, and this is the kind of language children use. They say it all the time that, oh, I suck at math. They say that, this show sucks. So this is a normal thing for parents to use, and then this is a normal way. This is a normal parlance for children, for adolescents. So I don't think that there is anything wrong with the title. And when the book came out, of course, everyone was kind of taken aback by the title, that, oh, that is one tall claim, where you think that children feel like that. But when they read it, I think 95% of the readers came back to me, or they wrote on different platforms that they loved what they read. And to tell you the truth, we wrote 83 reasons in all about why parents suck, and there are only 54 in the book. We edited some of them were repetitive, some of them were too radical at that time, so we didn't incorporate those things. So that is how the book was born. So what I feel is that my first book, Don't Raise Your Children, Raise Yourself, was basically for parents from the perspective of parents, while this book is from the perspective of children. So that is why I feel that I'm one of those parenting coaches who bridge the gap between parents and children. So I am a spokesperson for both parents as well as children.
Amazing.
I listen to both of them, and then I develop. Yeah,
Yes.
I find the common ground between both.
Awesome.
That is what I
It's
try.
such a sweet way to connect them, because you're coming up with the
Yes.
day-to-day problems, and it become easier for parents, you get some guidance and it really helps you. It's great actually.
Of course, like yesterday, I was there are a lot of platforms where I help people as a parenting coach. So yesterday only there was a mother who asked me a question. She said that right now in this situation, I and my husband, we both work from home, and I have a 2.5 year old daughter. So it becomes very difficult for us to have our calls and at the same time take care of her. So how do I manage that?
Yeah.
So it is such a relevant problem in today's time for a parent, and I was able to help her with the answer to that. And so she was so happy. She said, "Oh, it never occurred to me, but yes, I can use all these things." And then I think I'll be able to have a stress free call and at the same time keep an eye on my daughter. And she
Oh,
can
nice.
play. And, I can tell my colleagues that, yes, I have a daughter and she's playing in another room. So I might need to go and check on her in between of the call. I said, yeah, that is what I don't believe in work life balance. It is work life integration, it is work life rhythm that we need to develop now. There is no balance or no segregation between the two,
Of
right?
course.
There has to be a rhythm, there has to be an integration.
So true.
So these are answers which come out from the day-to-day questions, and I think that is the best way of kind of helping people out there. If I change one person, I change one world,
Of
right?
course, yes,
So that's
absolutely right.
that's
Absolutely,
how,
actually.
yeah,
So
that's
true.
how it
And
goes.
I really like it,
Yeah.
Shailesh ji and your interests are kind of same, like you both of you want to write and you must be really enjoying that thing, right? अभी तो आप लोग घर पे हैं, तो I think so
जी बिल्कुल
अच्छा लिख पा रहे होंगे और अच्छे से
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
of course.
डेफिनेटली पढ़ने का समय मिल रहा है, लिखने का समय मिल रहा है, तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. एंड वी बोथ रीड अ लॉट, एंड आई एम वर्किंग ऑन माय नेक्स्ट बुक, सो आई एम गेटिंग टाइम टू research and to develop and create the structure of the book.
And
So
of course,
that is
Swara
kind
is so good. आपको कितना अच्छा लगता होगा. You must be feeling so proud of her. Like, wow. She's also,
oh yes, as a
of course,
of
it's great
course
actually. You can share your thoughts and work on it. It's great. And mother-daughter
mhm.
relationship is always like, wow.
Yeah, and it is very important these days to have a relationship where you have a relationship based on mutual respect.
Yes, of course.
That is very important for us, and I've always believed that it is very important to respect children for who they are.
Very, very true.
हम ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि हम उनको कंट्रोल करने की कोशिश करें, या हम ये सोचें कि हमें सब आता है तो हम तुम्हें बताएंगे कि तुम्हें ये करना है और ये नहीं करना है. Because I always feel that if I have a 1 year old child, I'm a 1 year old mother.
So true.
So it is not that I have a lot of experience in that particular role.
Yeah.
I might know a little bit more as an individual, but as a mother, I don't know too much. So there is no harm in growing together, learning together, and keep your ego in check. Because इंडियन पेरेंट्स के सबसे बड़े दुश्मन दो ही हैं, एक उनकी ईगो और एक उनका फेयर.
So true.
They have
Absolutely
a lot of
right.
fear and they have a lot of ego. If we can control these two things, our lives, our relationships can improve a lot.
Yes,
But
improvement is
these
the
are the two
most major.
things. Yes, these two things spoil a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah,
That
of
is what
course,
I
of course.
feel.
And if you
Yeah.
maintain the friendliness, that will be the great thing. That's what I feel.
True,
That's
true. That's
amazing.
that's very important. Yeah.
So, what are your upcoming projects, Dr. Swati?
Rashmi, I'm working on a book on excellence,
Mm-hmm.
which is almost complete. So, that is a book which talks about holistic excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a book which will give a complete action plan to people about what I was telling you in the beginning, that how do we excel as a person, partner, professional, parent, and a perennialer.
Very nice.
So that is the book that I'm working on, and another one is a project on ecofeminism. So I'm working on reflections of a woman who is, who has lived a life in different areas of the world and how she sees the world. And so it's a book which connects women with feminism, women with earth, women with herself, and women with how to deal with patriarchy. So that's a book concerned with women as such. So I'm working on that project at the moment.
How nice.
Yeah.
Dr. Swati, I would really like to compliment you. I learned a lot, first of all, from you. And the second thing is usually what I've seen that women who are very wise, you see their face like very matured and very like some different look. And but your heart, like from the
There's a
heart, what
look
are you
that I
knows
know
it, that glows on
everything.
your face. That's what it is. You're a
You
very
know,
simple and a nice person.
there's a look which says that I know everything. But my problem is I always begin my day thinking that I know nothing.
No, that's so sweet of you, and you are such a
Yeah.
grounded and nice person. It was great talking to you, Dr. Swati. But before we
My
end the
pleasure,
show,
my pleasure.
any message
Mhm.
for our viewers, please?
Uh, my message is very simple, and that is be healthy, be hopeful, and be happy in whatever you are doing, wherever you are. That is the most important thing at the moment. Please take care of your health in all the ways possible. Please try to spread hope everywhere where you are. And happiness is something which is a state of our mind. It doesn't depend on anyone else, it depends entirely on us. So try to stay happy and try to spread as much of happiness as possible around us, because we need loads of hope at the moment.
Of
So
course.
stay at home, stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank
That's
you
what
so
I
much.
would
It
want
was
to say.
great talking to you. I really enjoyed it so much, and I learned so much.
My
Thank you
pleasure,
so much,
Rashmi.
Dr. Swati.
My
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
My pleasure, Rashmi.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye.